Yo, what's up, folks? It's your boy Big Dog here at Bucket Sports. Here with my host Matt, coming to you live today. Fine Tuesday, big week of football, big week of college football. Got a lot of sports takes to go through, and Matt, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Excited to be on here. Debuted episode, Bucket Sports. To finally get, sometimes the hardest thing is getting started. Right. I know we about to get this thing rolling. Like you said, there's plenty of sports to talk about. Me and Tyren talk about sports all the time. So we said, might as well just, kind of put it on video.
Yep, for sure. Football, basketball, baseball, betting.
Yep.
I don't know, anything, badminton, rugby, any type of sport.
I wouldn't say hockey, but I don't know too much
about
hockey.
Hockey, just throw it in there.
This is just a basic idea, in case the cameras. This is just a basic idea of our logo, but we'll branch off here. Hey, baseball season playoff season around the corner here. So kind of excited for that and see who gets to dance in October.
For sure, absolutely. I'm not as happy this year because the Rangers, of course, not in it. Big Texas Rangers fan. We had too many injuries this year, but next year we'll be back on that thing.
Isn't that how that works, though? It's like 1 year you're on top of the World Series, the ring ceremony, this, that, and the third. Next year you're watching the games from the house.
For sure. I think especially in baseball, I think I read somewhere they don't really have many repeats.
Yeah.
Usually you really good 1 year, then you really whack the next year. So we'll be back.
Yeah, but hey, since we're going to go ahead and get started, I don't want y'all to think this is a primary of baseball. It just happened to be the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with some college football.
All right.
Tyren. So we all know about the SEC matchups. When you look at the SEC schedule, you usually kind of circle a couple games on the calendar that you're going to tell. Let's say you got a girlfriend, tell the wife, whatever. Hey, I'm in the room, I'm watching this with the fellas. One of those that you usually going to circle is definitely the Alabama-Georgia game.
Sure. Game
was in Bryant-Denny. It's weird because, in years past, it's that Nick Saban versus Kirby Smart, and it's a heavyweight battle because in case some of y'all youngins don't remember, back in the day, Kirby Smart was once on Nick Saban's staff, and then he branched off, got the job at Georgia, and has been taking the Bulldogs ever since, and have kind of built him up to be a powerhouse. Saban obviously steps down. What do you think of that game with Alabama taking the win in Bryant-Denny Stadium on a nail-biter? Thought it was a big blowout. Score was up 21-0, I think, at the beginning of the game, but Georgia was able to kind of stumble back into it.
I thought that was a crazy game. First, it was a blowout.
Yep.
I almost fell asleep in the first, I'd say half. First quarter, I think they put up like 21 points. So it looked like it was going to be real over with real quick.
Yeah.
And then, kind of in football, you start letting your foot off the gas. Other team, they stay on the gas.
Yeah.
They just start coming back, touchdown after touchdown. I'm like, next thing you know, Alabama's down by one. Until my dog, Ryan Williams, he caught a crazy acrobatic off the spin move. And then he keeps 2 feet in. Looked like a ballerina right there, up the sideline, spin move again. That's probably the play of the game. 17 years old. Dog.
That's crazy. So I think he's from the state of Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. I'm 99% sure about that. We'll double check that. We'll fact check that.
Yeah.
But it's like you see these freshman wide receivers across the country just kind of jumping on the scene. You got Jeremiah Smith out of the state of Florida, where it was Ohio State, which has been kind of considered recently, besides like maybe LSU and a couple other schools, like wide receiver university. He goes there and starts, and he's putting up huge numbers at Ohio State. Ryan Williams every single week is making a highlight against top competition. He does against Wisconsin, he does against Georgia, he does against the great teams. And like you said, he's only 17 years old, so he really – most time he ain't even had prom yet, but most kids standards.
Yeah, I know, right. I was like, dang, did you graduate early? Did he miss all the fun that you get to have in high school, or did he just skip it and say, I'm just going to get busy in college and then have some fun there, I guess?
Hey, he's performing in front of, 95,000 on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Whenever Bama comes to town, it's a celebration. Everybody is going to give you your best foot forward. And so it's been kind of interesting to watch, but it seemed like the spotlight isn't too bright for him.
No, it's honestly too easy for him. And it's in his DNA. Fun fact, I think he's Serena Williams. I think that's her cousin.
Really?
That's her shouting him out, like, yo, get him, little cuz, or whatever. But, yeah, he's a dog for sure. I would probably say best receiver in college football, 17 years old. I would say so. Maybe Ohio State got a couple guys that's pretty good too as well.
That's what I'm saying. So what would you think if you took Jeremiah? Jeremiah is huge. I think both of them have almost like 600 yards receiving this season already. Both of them got speed. I think somebody put it like this. They were like the one from Alabama, that is, he's Ryan Williams. Somebody said it was kind of like he's very like you said, like kind of acrobatic. He just kind of move around. You see like the quick instincts or whatever. Whereas Jeremiah, he is that too. I think Jeremiah had like 2 one-handed catches this week alone.
Right.
But they're just different kind of style of receivers, both at speed though.
For sure, I would say Ryan Williams had that nimble. Jeremiah's almost like that big, strong dog. You might be like well, if we're talking compare him to an NFL player, I know I'm already projecting. He's kind of A.J. Brown built.
Okay.
Just physical, aggressive, good route runner. Also a dog as well. Either one of them can come play with the Cowboys. I'll take either one of them right now.
You always looking to take one. But y'all just gave y'all receiver the big money.
Yeah, well that's why you gotta get the new guys coming in.
Good point.
It'll be they're coming on that rookie deal. It'll balance itself out because we need some more receiver help right now.
You know how those receivers don't like to give up those touches though.
Yeah.
Receivers, you bring that new guy and he's like, all right, young fella, come sit down beside me. You're not gonna get all the touches. You gotta work your way in here, but we got a couple catches.
I'm sure Cowboys, we got plenty of balls we can throw to them.
Yes. So we'll see what's happening with the Cowboys. We'll talk about them a little bit more later. Do want to kind of highlight Kalen DeBoer. This guy's like 104-12 as a college football coach. Start off his career at Tyren, say the name of that school.
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls. I always be about to mess with Sioux Falls. Going 67-3 there. Fresno State went 12-6 there. 25-3 overall, and has the Crimson Tide undefeated thus far. Like I keep saying it, you can only imagine how different of a recruiting pitch that is. You used to having Saban come in those rooms. Shoot, they say whenever you walk into Saban's office, he hits a button and closes the office door. So, and there's a certain vibe to that. I feel like even if you
got the trophies on the table. I heard he just laid all the trophies out on the table.
Yeah. And that's just the way he coming at you. There's a certain way, and then Kalen DeBoer, still a winning coach, but a little bit different, coming from over there in Washington and just kind of the West in general.
Yeah.
How different do you think those guys are when it comes to when they go on those recruiting trips, maybe an in-home visit? How different do you think their approaches probably are?
I feel like DeBoer is kind of more smooth. A person that kind of lets the guys have a little bit of personality.
Yeah.
Kind of show yourself, and I really don't think. I feel like he has a lot of pressure as a coach, but just because he's coming after Nick Saban, who's already there. But as a person that's coming into somebody's living room, I feel like he can kind of relate with guys saying, "Hey, I'm have to prove myself as a coach, just like you have to prove yourself as a player."
Yeah.
And it seems like he's doing pretty well, and he also has some success to go behind it. The success he had at Washington. I think he's doing a pretty good job. Still undefeated, probably the team to beat if Texas Longhorns wasn't the best team out there. They'd be the team to beat, but.
And I'll tell you what, it seems like you looked at that sideline, every time Alabama kept scoring that first quarter, it was like Kirby was kind of shook a little bit. It's like, wait a minute, Nick is out of here now. So we expected, not to say the games were competitive, Nick were there, so we were like, okay, maybe we get the leg up on them now, and we take over the SEC kind of completely here. But like I said, looking at that first quarter, it was like, oh, this is a whole nother wave of the guys. Now, granted, like I said, Georgia was able to kind of bring it close at the end and kind of make it an instant classic. Because like you said before, at the beginning, you're like, all right, well, y'all, what else we doing for the night? Because this one's over.
Yeah, I would say the main difference is probably, Nick Saban comes in with that big defensive background. You do something wrong, I'm going to cuss your ass out.
Yeah.
No bullshitting. No, I guess he now kind of started to let dudes celebrate and have a little bit of personality, but generally he's like the college version of a Bill Belichick. Yeah. Don't do no plan. DeBoer is a little bit more chill, offensive guy, big spread, open system. Like to score a lot of points, and two different styles, but they both been able to get it done for Alabama for sure. Now DeBoer's probably got more access to more alumni funds. Alabama's a bigger football brand than Washington, so it's exciting to see him trying to take over for Nick Saban, and it looks like they're not even really missing those steps.
Imagine maybe at Washington, shout out to the Huskies out there of the world, but you want that guy, and it's like we might not get that guy. LSU might come into his same living room, and they might see that LSU, the tiger, and or the emblem, whatever you want to call it, they might go. But now, like you said, now you're at Alabama. Like, we got one, too.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we beat them every year, or, they go back and forth however out there in the South.
Yep.
But they get it done. But want to move on a little bit to the other show in town, because when I looked at the schedule for this, there's 2 big games. And it's kind of crazy to think. You got the Alabama game for sure. Mm-hmm. And then a couple years back, if you would have told me that Colorado and UCF was must-watch TV, I'd have been like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Gus Malzahn there, I'm just like, I'm not really checking for that. But then whenever Deion Primetime come to town.
Oh, big show.
Big show. I think the game was, it was at 12:30. I think it was probably like 3:30 Eastern time. It got delayed. I was sitting there. I was ready for it. I was amped up. Got delayed. I think they had some storms or something like that.
Weather.
But Colorado.
Yes, sir.
Plus, getting a win against Gus. I think Gus Malzahn, those guys in UCF opened up as like a 12-point favorite.
Yeah. And I have a friend who always be hitting me up every day for bets. And he was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I would have lost today. I would have straight thought Colorado's gonna come here and get smoked. No, sir. Ain't hard to find, Mr. Prime. Easy money, too. It looked like they were just blowing UCF out.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even a fun game to watch after. I mean, it's always fun because they got Travis Hunter there and, Shador there. And it's so much cachet. And
there's a lot going on.
It's always a good time whenever they're winning. Even when they're losing, you're just still there for see if they're going to come back.
Yeah.
How they carry themselves. But it really wasn't all that competitive. It was almost too easy. And then Travis Hunter on offense and on defense, catching the ball, both interceptions, also acrobatic dude, can play both ways. Definitely, to me, I would say if they can win enough games, Heisman. He's right up there with Giatti from Boise State running back, Heisman. But just a dog.
And then, so we're all thinking that we're all, like you're saying Colorado's got to keep winning because he's not a quarterback. So there's that thing of there. Yeah. And then he strikes the Heisman pose.
Yeah.
And it's like,
run on that.
If you didn't know, now you know. A lot of people are saying it's like one of the coldest pitchers thus far in sports as far as for this season.
Yeah.
For some stats there, so Shador went 28 for 35, surgical. 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Let's see here. Let's go down here for the receiving. Will Shepard, the one from Vanderbilt, had the great catch wherever it seemed like Shador kind of just threw it up.
Yeah.
You had the DB who was out there kind of backpedaling, thinking he was going to catch the easy interception. Snaps the ball there. He had 4 receptions, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Travis had 9 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And they also had the interception on the other side of the ball. A lot of Deion really recruits a lot of those boys out of Florida, too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting to see. It's like a lot of the boys were like Horn and it was 10 and LeJontay Wester and many other ones. They're actually from Florida, so it's like they feel like they're going back home. And I don't know if you guys are watching, but if you look at the Colorado football the Instagram account, you see how they kind of show whenever those guys are going home, they make like a little extra addition to make sure people notice it.
Absolutely. It's always. I'm sure they probably had some fans in the stadium. That's probably watched them growing up and played or. Family coming up to the game because some of them all out different parts of Florida, but if they can all get to Orlando, they probably drove there for that game. So just showed out for the fans, showed out for the friends, got busy, got the dub, easy money too. And I know at least one person that took UCF and not doing too good.
Look, I'm
not doing too good.
I'm all money in. So if I would not have lost so much against Nebraska, then I would have been all money in. Because me, I don't know, Deion Sanders, it's almost like even if they're not projected to win this game, I just got to believe that they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
I'm all money in, buying the clothes, buying the shirts. But I had to hesitate, and whenever you hesitate, you never win.
Yeah. It's all right, though. You didn't lose nothing either.
That's one way of looking at it.
You didn't lose nothing either.
Because a couple weekends ago, I was watching the Nebraska game. I didn't even finish the game. I left at halftime. I didn't keep watching this.
Oh, yeah, I won that one. That's all right, though.
That money was exchanged. It went from my pockets to Tyren's pockets. It was all good. But one thing that I definitely want to kind of emphasize, for a while, a lot of people have been saying Colorado can't run the ball. Those offenses, they got the message that week.
Absolutely. I've actually... At first, I felt like the line didn't really improve from early on from when we first saw them. But now, I feel like they're kind of starting to get a rhythm, starting to kind of gel with each other. Sometimes it does take time, especially if you're in the transfer portal. You got guys coming from all over, never played together before, and they're all trying to put it together for essentially. Shador's going to the league after this, so just putting it together for 1 year. But yeah, they're starting to look a lot better now. At least protect them long enough so you can get the ball downfield, taking shots to, and to Jimmy Horn and
the rest of the company. LeJontay Wester.
Yeah.
Will Shepard. Yeah. So they got a lot of weapons out there.
I'm not sure all the names.
They go back and forth with saying like that's one of the best wide receiver core. They are explosive. Sometimes in games when you're watching them, it kind of feels like if Travis can't get going, it's kind of hard to get the rest of the guys going. That's what I kind of watched a little bit in the Nebraska game, especially at the beginning of it. But it's a nice receiver, and they're just gonna get a lot of chances because they do a lot of 10 personnel.
Yeah.
A lot of 10 personnel out there. They got good running backs. Hayden came from Ohio State. He just had to transfer because that room was kind of crowded. They got like 2 other backs that have been playing really well for them. And so you could live and listen because I like listening to the press conference after the game.
Okay.
The coaches are still kind of emotional. See, by Tuesday, they're not saying nothing no more.
Yeah, on to next week.
Yeah, by Tuesday, we chilling now. We kind of back at, okay, got to be politically correct. But Deion was like, this it's like a complete game.
Absolutely.
It's like I feel like we dominated on all aspects of the game. Went down there, like I said, was the underdog. But let me talk about this for a quick second. So Gus Malzahn, right? I thought it was kind of interesting. As we know, Gus Malzahn was the offensive coordinator at Auburn whenever Cam Newton was there.
Yep.
Cool. And so I don't know exactly this for a fact, but it made sense that KJ Jefferson ends up leaving Arkansas and goes there because he's like, I'm a big guy like Cam Newton was. And it's like, I get to go run in his offense. We see what it's done for Cam.
Yeah.
Usually, I think they are one of the top schools in the nation when it comes to running the ball. You know, Gus Malzahn's scheme is all about getting different guys the ball, running things. We remember this. What was my guy, 14, Nick Marshall?
Oh, yeah, Nick Marshall.
Remember those days?
Yeah, the little slide of the hand. You know, they run these, it look like they're going this way, they're going this way.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of RPOs, a bunch of different options off the RPO. He was good at that offense for a while, but I think it's now in a situation where a lot of people have caught up to it defensively.
Good point.
So it's not brand new and fresh like it was, when he first started.
When he hopped on the scene, that thing was crazy.
Yeah, with Cam Newton, that was probably one of the best, and which 1 year, probably one of the best 1 years of college football ever. I could probably put that 1 year up there with anybody's 1 year.
True story. So shout out my dog Thomas. He probably listening. Hopefully he is.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you're not. But it's crazy because I remember the year before then, I don't know why I happened to be on the Auburn video page. Back then YouTube was a thing, but you go to the school's page and watch the every week breakdown and stuff. And they were talking about like spring training. They're like, we got this big quarterback out of Blaine College.
Oh yeah.
I was like, who is this? I mean, he's huge, but who is this guy? And it's like, his name's Cam Newton. He went to Florida, but he went to community college, and then now he's out here. And then you just watch them build that momentum every single week. Who do you think had a better run, that Cam Newton team with Auburn or LSU with Joe Burrow?
Oh, man, that's a tough question.
Both great runs.
I'm going to say it was more impressive for Cam's team because I can't think of one person on Cam's team that actually ended up being good in the NFL.
Okay.
So he basically put the team on his back.
Yeah.
And so that was probably harder to do. But LSU's team was probably better, technically.
Yeah, because you can name a bunch of guys that went on the first
Yes,
round.
sir.
LSU team. Was it what? Patrick Queen was at linebacker.
Yeah.
Chase.
Jefferson.
Stingley.
You said
Burrow.
Jefferson. Of course, Joe Burrow. What's the guy who plays the Kansas City Chiefs?
Clyde Hilaire.
Randy Moss's son. I don't think he's still in the league anymore, but his name Thaddeus Moss.
Thaddeus Moss. There you go.
Yeah, they just had a team that was just way too deep.
Yeah,
way too deep. I think maybe Calebon Chason was on that team too. He's a defensive end now. I'm not sure what team he's playing for, but he's in the league.
The receiver, the slot receiver, he went to the Panthers. He wasn't the first round guy, but he was the slot receiver for that team. I cannot think of his name. But as you say, dominant. When you got that many weapons, it's like as a defense, you sit down that defensive meeting, I'm sure the week before you play LSU, we got a lot of work to do.
That's tough. I remember they played Texas, and we almost had it.
Yeah, that was close.
That was a close game. Joe got out the pocket, ducked, threw it, touchdown. That was sick. So we would have came back and won that game. It would have never been a championship team. We might have been a little shook up a little differently.
I thought that was the game that, I think me and you talked about this before, I think that was the game that put you guys on, not you guys, obviously, it took y'all out. That put LSU on the radar because it's like, okay, I'm hearing about, because it's crazy. I was listening, I think, shout out Jordan Palmer. I was listening to him talk about it before, and I think the year before then, LSU had like led the one of the tops. They had the program with the most drops for wide receivers. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy to think 1 year related, you got 2 first rounders out of that. But just go show you the off season, go put the work in. You got the quarterback that's confident, feel like he can make the thing go. Did they beat UCF or I think UCF beat them in that bowl game the year before to finish the undefeated season?
I think they lost. I don't think they have the. You talking about UCF versus LSU?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think UCF won that.
Okay, so
UCF stayed undefeated.
There you go.
season. Yep.
And then so you see how that kind of maybe that pushed them a little bit into the offseason. You know, your big program at LSU. You feel like you beat UC. It's funny we're talking about UCF now. You feel like you knock UCF out the way and keep it moving. Yeah. Things turn around. 2 iconic seasons. Want to keep talking about quarterbacks a little bit here. We're gonna stay in the SEC here.
Okay.
So what you think about Arch Manning?
Arch, my dog.
Arch Manning and the Longhorns. Were y'all at home this week or where were y'all at?
Oh yeah, it was at home. Too much for them boys at the crib.
Yeah.
Too much for them.
Took down Mississippi State.
Easy money.
Final score 35-13.
I shouldn't say. Well, let me slow down. I shouldn't say easy money. I mean, his completions was great. I think he was able to pretty much drop dimes on folks. We started the offense kind of slow. He still has. It's kind of like a patience thing. You know, everybody's so excited to see him play.
Yeah.
You know, he got a great DNA, great family. And then his Arch, you got that Manning name behind him, so everybody wants to see 100 points right away. But it kind of goes through a little bit of growing pains. I see Sark yelling at him a little bit just to kind of, get focused. You know, read the defense here, read the defense there. But he usually, once he turns it on, that's when they all start coming. He got unlimited arm range. He can really throw it anywhere. He's pretty accurate with the football. Sometimes it's just he has to get acclimated with the offense and get some of his decision making up to par, but because he didn't really get, I don't really know that he got the reps that Quinn Ewers got.
For sure.
Because he was supposed to be the starter. He just coming back from last year. He was a starter, so I don't know if they gave Arch the same attention and the same amount of reps as Quinn got. So he's still kind of getting it worked in, which is going to actually go all the way because Quinn's coming back and the Sooners is going to come. Well, we're going to play OU in the rivalry game.
That this week?
Well, we got a bye, so we're going to play them next. But
gotcha.
Quinn's going to go right back in, so Arch's going to have to go back to the bench and watch a little bit. But next year he does show us a little bit every year, a little bit each game of him getting better and how he going to take on the program and win. Not one, because we're going to win this year, but 2.
Okay. I'd take Tyren.
Yeah.
So you think y'all going to win it this year?
I got us winning. We should go to the we'll probably get to the playoffs, and the championship game, I would say we'll probably meet up with Alabama.
So you still think 12 team open it up, it still ends up being SEC teams?
Can't they put it to where even those SEC teams, I know we're probably going to meet each other in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
But can't they divide it up on the tournament of the 12 team where Alabama's over here, we over here, so we don't just meet up again?
It can be. It's going to be real kind of dicey because I know if you win your conference championship, you get an automatic qualifier. Mm-hmm. But, there are definitely other spots. I think a group of 5 team is going to make it this year. You were talking about, I just wanted to kind of make sure we kind of give it stats. For a backup quarterback to go play in an SEC ball game and go 26 for 31, 325 yards and 2 touchdowns, even if Mississippi State isn't exactly what they were expecting to be, that's still really good. Because, like I said, that's not the number 1. Right. That's the number 2, so you're kind of just making the most of your opportunity, and that means you went out there only incompleted 5 passes.
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, it's kind of hard to nitpick if you only throw 5 incomplete passes, no interceptions, 300 yards, but it just, in terms of touchdowns, it was like we probably got a touchdown in the first quarter.
Yep.
Maybe a touchdown in the second quarter. Probably a touchdown in the third quarter. So it was like slow. He just didn't come out there. But that's SEC football. You're not just going to come up there, show up, and hang 70 on people just because you
hear a lot of coaches say this, like every week in the SEC, even if the opponent is not the best, these are some of the best athletes in the world, and they just might not be able to put it together, but that guy in front of you is good.
Yeah, I mean, you can also get upset, like Kentucky upset Ole Miss.
Yeah.
It can't happen. So I'm glad that wasn't us. I'll take the dub.
I think that shocked a lot of people. When you're watching your different games and you see like the little, like they interrupt you to go to like a highlight of this game, and it's like, and Kentucky beats Ole Miss, and it's like, now it's crazy because South Carolina had beaten Kentucky, and Kentucky put up a fight against Georgia. Yeah. So it showed you they had something to them. South Carolina just was the better team that day. Could really beat them on that day. But then Ole Miss, and like I said, a lot of people are expecting Ole Miss to kind of maybe not go undefeated, but definitely maybe one loss to an opponent that was going to be a little bit better than Kentucky was. But they got a date against South Carolina, Williams-Brice on Saturday. So maybe that was the wake-up call they needed. This is such going to be – look, I was in the building for the South Carolina LSU game. The vibes were immaculate. It's an energetic building. That was one game I left and I felt like we won, but the scoreboard didn't show so.
Yeah.
So now South Carolina fans going to put it all together again, get excited for this. I'm praying Lenore Sellers is healthy, because if Lenore Sellers is healthy, then I think if Lenore Sellers is healthy, we should win the game by at least 10 points.
So that's going to happen. That means that's another.
Because he had us killing. Now, granted, that's a different level of quarterback that they got there at Ole Miss, Jackson Dart, than you're dealing with Nesmeyer or whatever at LSU. But the way Lenore has a team playing, when he's healthy, I want maybe that was a little ambitious saying 10 points, because that's whatever.
Yeah,
at least 7-point win if Lenore Sellers is healthy and ready to go.
I actually so it's tough when they come off of a loss, because that's what Ole Miss ready to go. They're trying to, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So they're gonna give you, if you're gonna go in there and beat them, they're gonna give you everything. You're gonna have to come in there and beat them, because they coming off the loss, super focused. Jackson Dart, I gotta have a better game.
Got to dice them up.
My draft stock, I gotta make sure I'm getting drafted first round.
Yeah.
You got a lot to worry about there. You're trying to put and they're trying to get to the championship, and they can't. Another loss would almost. That wouldn't be good. I don't know how. See, it's so new with the 12 teams. I don't know how they're gonna, chop it up when they for who's gonna get in the playoff or not. But losing twice, that's not gonna be good. Kentucky and then South Carolina.
Easy.
What?
Easy on South Carolina.
It's a wrap.
Easy on South Carolina.
They're gonna sit there and be like, "Yeah, Ole Miss, you gotta go."
Hey, well, you said, I was going to say maybe a New Year's 5 game, but I don't even know how that's going to structure out and work. But hey, look, the South Carolina pass rush, whenever they play, whenever they get to work and they're able to get those sacks, I think that defensive line is doing really well this season. They're going to need to come to play. The game's at 3:30, I think, Eastern time, because it's saying 12:30 out here in Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't know if we said it before. We're definitely live from Arizona, in case y'all didn't know that.
Yep, Phoenix.
Yeah, live from Arizona. So our time thing is a little bit different here, but I know Williams-Brice, Willie B is what they call it out there. I know Willie B will be jumping. I'm telling you, if Lenore Sellers, it was crazy. When he took off on that 80, 70 yard run through the middle, he made the LSU safety miss and took it. I was yelling at everybody around me. That's why I lost my voice. I couldn't talk on Monday. That's a quarterback. We finally got a quarterback. So I need him to come to play. Hopefully he'll be healthy.
Yeah. It's
going to be tough for him, because I know he keeps having these injuries, and we're early in the SEC play. But Carolina's 3-1. Ole Miss is 4-1. Should be a great date in the SEC.
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch. I'll tune in just because
there you go. There you go.
I know it's your team. You want them to win, but I don't know, dog. Coming off the Ole Miss, if they lose, I'm just gonna call it. If they lose, they're not going to college football playoffs, because it's too many teams outside of that.
Yeah.
Missouri's another good team.
I was just about to say about Missouri.
Yeah, it's Texas, Missouri. I would say. There's probably one more that I missed. Oh, Georgia probably still get in there, because that's not a bad loss, losing to Alabama. So, yeah, they out of there. Alabama, it's over with. That's a wrap.
So, Lane, you heard it here. Make sure you get the dub this weekend.
Sure, you don't need that.
But Beamer going to have the Beamer ball going. I'm excited for that one. Staying in the SEC here real quickly.
Yeah.
Dude, and this one's a little bit more for me. Me and Tyren, sometimes we have topics with Tyren go crazy. Sometimes he topics I go crazy. This Auburn situation is interesting, man. Okay. Auburn just can't catch a break. Auburn keeps losing. And here's the thing. If you're that Auburn fan base, when y'all went out there and got Hugh Freeze, you got Hugh Freeze, who was dominant Ole Miss back whenever they had Evan Ingram, Laquan Treadwell, Robert Kandichi. I don't know if you remember that class where those boys, it was just insane how many top prospects they got, and the rumors what happened. Those rumors what happened, but they were a good team. That was when they beat Alabama. Chad Kelly was the quarterback back then. And so Auburn goes to Liberty after things turn for the worse at Ole Miss. He's out there with Malik Willis. He was there at the same time.
Malik, yep.
Yeah, they were there at the same time. But then Auburn thinks, all right, bet we're gonna go get Hugh Freeze. He's gonna do what he did at SEC West out there in Ole Miss. He's gonna come do the same thing here, and it just hasn't been working for him. And the thing is, the recruits they're getting, these are top tier guys. You don't just get to go to Auburn just because. You got to be one of the top guys probably in the country, but for some reason they haven't been able to just to pull it together. I think looking at their record right now, I don't want to misspeak here, but
I don't think they won the game this year.
They have, because I've been watching. They lost to Cal Berkeley. They just lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Arkansas. They did beat New Mexico. Shout out to Lobos. They did beat New Mexico, and then they beat Alabama A&M. So it looks like
they have one. Oh, I'm sorry. They probably haven't won an SEC game this year.
Yeah.
Okay. I've only seen them just on the SEC folks, and I don't remember them beating neither SEC team. So that's what it is.
Because they completely messed up my parlay.
Yeah.
Shout out Tyren who got me onto the whole parlays and sports gambling, for better or for worse.
Yes. Well, for worse, because Ole Miss lost, and that was for worse for me. I messed up my parlay.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was going through it. You know, y'all know how you do it when you're on a little DraftKings app. You keep throwing, shout out DraftKings, we need a deal.
Well,
But
I bet with FanDuel. Just put that out there. So FanDuel, we need a deal.
we can do a joint partnership. But I was sitting there like watching them going through the different games. Okay, Okay, no way Cal Berkeley. Shout out Cal Berkeley. I really rock with Deshaun Jackson. But there's no way Cal Berkeley comes up into Jordan Hare Stadium and beats them. And then then Notre Dame lost on Northern Illinois that same set, or Northern Illinois or whoever that school was.
Yeah.
So that was messed up anyway. But right now, if I'm an Auburn fan, it's like, yo, what are we doing here? Because he was supposed to be our solution. We got the guy that got Chad Kelly and the whole team and got those guys winning, had them beating Alabama. And the thing is, you're out here losing all these SEC games. They got, looks like, is this weekend the 5th? You got Georgia this weekend. You still got to play Mizzou on the 19th. You got to bye. Then you got Alabama at the end of the year. It ain't looking too good for and Auburn is not a very patient fan base.
Oh, really?
They're not the most patient fan base. Because they would expect to compete with Alabama on a yearly basis.
Yeah, that's setting up false expectations. Here. They can't be doing stuff like that because I've only seen Auburn be good in football. I've only seen Auburn be good. But Cam.
And then I think,
and maybe maybe one Gus year right there.
Wherever Cadillac Williams was the running back there,
yeah.
I think they narrowly escaped missing. You know what you know about Cadillac Williams?
Oh, running back.
Yeah, you know about Cadillac.
Yeah, I thought he had one of the best names.
They don't know out there in the Midwest.
Yeah,
yeah.
So, Southside.
But yeah, so man, I just like I said, that was my take. I just was like, I've been watching that. I'm like, Auburn that fan base was expecting wins. If you know, and the thing is, if you don't have a lot of big wins, you expect close ball games with top teams. You don't expect to keep going to Jordan Hare and keep getting beat.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. We're gonna go to the ACC for our last two topics about college football before we head to the NFL.
All right.
What you thought about Miami?
Great game, yo. Honestly, Cam Ward is a dog. I would say the only person that could probably challenge right now. Well, it's 3 Heisman guys, I would say, that's just kind of neck and neck.
Yeah.
Cam Ward is one of them.
Yep.
Boise State running back, the other one. G.A.T. is another one.
Okay.
And
Travis.
Oh, Travis, yeah. Travis. Those are probably 3, but Cam Ward about to put the team on his back, though. Yep. I ain't seen that video. Nah, it's a crazy game. Comeback win. Had some money on that one. That did save the day overall on the betting. Yeah. But I was a little nervous, though, because it came down to a pass in the end zone where, I mean, everybody jumped up, catches it. I didn't like that they called it a touchdown. But if you call it a touchdown, you can't overturn the touchdown. Yeah. So I didn't like that.
Because you thought the play should have just stood. Because whatever evidence. I can't think of the word.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's it's not inconclusive evidence.
Inconclusive, that's the word.
So basically, when you come down with the ball, and the guy pulls it out, so I was like, oh, they shouldn't call it a touchdown because, it was hard enough to even see if he had possession, but everybody comes down with it, and then he gets it pulled out. So I would have never called it a touchdown. But if you call it a touchdown
on the field,
usually they stick with the call that's on the field.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is gonna be tight. But when they went to review it, and it kept taking a long time.
When they take a long time,
I was like, oh, I know what's going on here. Let's just go ahead and lay it out there. College football is better when Miami's winning, and they want to get them to the playoffs. So they're going to go ahead and reverse the call and get on the dub. I was actually on the phone with one of my homies. I was like, yeah, they're going to go ahead and give Miami the win here because it's better for college football. Cam Ward, and, they rank top team. They're going to go ahead and get on the win. Sure enough, he came back out there and says, the call has been reversed. The pass was incomplete, and all of a sudden everybody going crazy. And I was too because I had my bet on Miami. I was hyped too, but
so you were super fan that day. Yeah,
that was all that was. It's just a little hometown or home crowd love. But home field love right there. The bigger program got to keep the college football story going. Somebody went out there and said, let's go ahead and just say that was incomplete.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
So Miami gets the win. Final score 38-34 for the stats. Cam Ward 24 for 38, 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So safe to say, is the U back?
U was back at least for a year. U was back.
That's weird, right? It's like for a year. It's not like this might not be back forever. It's like I was thinking about this not to go back, but we'll go back for a second. It's like Colorado, right? When Travis and Shador leaves. Is Colorado, was this just an exciting time? right?
Yeah.
It's just an exciting time in sports, and everybody's tuning into the game every year. If Deion is going to stay, he says he's going to stay. We'll see what happens. Then you got to go out and get a big name quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing that's kind of cool is when you do have a guy that's good for 1 year, the next year, maybe even 2 years, your name is kind of hot. So you can kind of use that buzz you got right now to go get you another guy.
Yeah.
So, and even Miami, they was able to get Cam Ward. He went there for his last year. When he had been transferring, with our Cardinal Word. Then he was up in Washington. I think it was Eastern Washington to be exact. Then he went
Washington
to
State.
Washington State. Sorry, yeah. Washington State. And so he's now in Miami. So you can't get in the portal and get you a guy if you can't, get a guy coming from high school.
Yeah.
So that's good. While you got the buzz, you got to strike. Because if you end up getting a DJ ukulele in there, the program's over with. It's a wrap. Now, in their defense, he was the best coming out of high school in Clemson, but that boy was soft.
I remember when Clemson played Notre Dame and he was balling, and everybody thought, I think because Trevor might have gotten hurt, I forgot what the reason was, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is the guy. This is the 5-star from St. John Bosco, if I'm not mistaken." I hope I got that right. I know it's one of the top schools in California for high school football. We were like, "Okay, we got our guy," and then it's just whenever he got the position, he wasn't able to hold it down. Then so he gets out there. He has a good year at Oregon State. It's almost like he plays good on the West Coast. He plays in the West. He had a good year at Oregon State last year, but their whole coaching staff ends up leaving. So then he comes to Florida State. Florida State, talking about he had a great camp. He had an absolutely magnificent camp.
Coach is never honest.
Always like height and weight.
If I'd say, how's this player right here? This dude is getting walked out the door. Literally escorted out. Oh, this guy, we're about to cut him. But he had a great camp. Next move, probably, or check your Twitter, check your feed, check anything. Oh, this dude's been cut. Coaches be capping until they just say what they got to say to the media, and then they do.
They believe it correct.
Yeah. Do the complete opposite.
I want to know though, so Mike Norvell, obviously this season is not going how they're expecting it to. I'm going to pull up right now. Florida State is a whopping 1-4. Yeah, 1-4 right now. At what moment? Because they lost in the opening week against Georgia Tech when they're like the only game on TV, so everybody's like, ooh. But at what moment did he realize this isn't going well? Was it in the preseason, or was it, was it in preseason when he was watching his team in practice? It's like, well, this ain't the team from last year. We might have some problems because, like I said, it's not gone well. And DJ, Florida State has a date with Clemson this week, so this DJ going against the old team. But it's not like I got this Florida State squad and we out here going crazy. It's more so like I need to breathe, and I really, really, really need it. It's more of a desperation win than it's like, okay, it's a clash of heavyweights, I guess, if you could say it like that.
Yeah. That job should have probably, and I don't know if this could be true, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Deion Sanders is interested in that job, and I feel like he might have talked to somebody about the job, but they didn't really trust him. He was still at Jackson State. They basically didn't take the same jump that Colorado's willing to take.
Okay.
I could see maybe why Deion didn't have a lot of college experience, but that's folding out. I would say. I don't know. Deion said he's going to stay at Colorado, but I don't know how long he's going to stay. But I would say right now, just looking at it, Deion probably should have got the job at Florida State because he probably would have been able to do everything he did at Colorado, but even more recruiting power, even bigger brand. But I would say, that job is looking like it's going to be up for grabs soon.
Yeah, because I think Mark Norvell came from Memphis, if I'm not mistaken, was there for a while. They hired him on. He had the undefeated season last year, just didn't make the playoff. Yeah. Glad he didn't because I didn't want to see them without their quarterback at that time, whatever else. Real quick, and we're about to
start. It's kind of crazy, though. You can be up for your job. So you did have the undefeated season. You lost Jordan Travis, and now you're having a bad year. They may give him a little bit of grace, but college football really don't be waiting around for nobody.
Not with a poor. Not when you can go completely rebuild your team, and it's weird too because you got to kind of get these coaches quick too because you got to go recruit and you got to go get the boys out the portal, so therefore they can get there in January, February, as opposed to getting there for summertime. You done missed all spring practice. Now you're not meeting the team, but you're trying to put it all together in fall camp against a product of a team that already had their guys for maybe a year or so already. Transfer portal is a weird thing, but so anyway, like we were saying, Clemson has a date with Florida State. That game is going to be in Tallahassee. Clemson goes that game 3-1. They've been rolling since they lost to Georgia originally. Florida State, like I said, is a desperation win. Doak Campbell don't mean as much right now. Playing at Doak Campbell whenever you're losing, how Florida State has been losing.
Doak Campbell rolling over in his grave right now. Yeah, that's shout out to Bubba Dub. That's stuff he like to say. Rolling over in his grave right now. That's what Doak Campbell doing.
That's a wild take. Okay, who you got? Who you got next for money line? Who you got? Clemson, Florida State.
Clemson. Tough. I don't even know what the line is on that. I'll just take Clemson because for the state, I don't like DJ Ukulele. That boy is sorry.
I'm gonna take Clemson as well. I think Clemson gets the job done. Last thing, before we go. No. That's it for college. So, as you know, I think Tyren's usually a bigger NFL fan. I think so, right?
Oh, for sure.
He's a big NFL fan. I much prefer college football, but I still tune in from time to time. But we had the 2 games going on Monday Night Football. Let's start off. Lions over Seattle. What's your thoughts on the game?
Good game. It's like, well, it wasn't as hot. It was one game where the Kansas City Chiefs had played against. It was back when Jared Goff was on the Rams. It kind of felt like that. It was like a high scoring, kind of a back and forth type game. A lot of high energy, a lot of fun plays. It kind of felt like that, but Seattle didn't score, of course, as much as the Chiefs did in that. But that's what it felt like. A lot of back and forth. Good game. I thought Geno played a good game. It's crazy how he's been able to kind of revamp his whole career.
After the Jets situation,
for sure. Seattle actually has a pretty good team. So did the Lions as well. I think that game just went to the team that was at home. I don't know if, say the same game was played in Seattle, I think Seattle finds a way to get that one. But real good game. Had a lot of fantasy players in that game.
There you go.
I was actually able to win my fantasy league because St. Brown caught a touchdown, caught that thing 2 feet in bounds, and he threw for one.
Sheesh.
So I was able to get the dub for that. Thank God, because I won by like 2 points.
Yeah.
Off of that.
Nail biter.
All of that.
Yeah, so the Detroit Lions were able to get the win. Final score 42-29. Jared Goff, 18 for 18, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, he would start off at Georgia Tech, ended up going to Alabama. Then he got his shot in the league, 14 carries, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jamison Williams, another Alabama talent, developed at Ohio State, but just got put on the radar for the whole world at Alabama. 2 receptions, 80 yards. That's a heck of a stuff. If you're a receiver, 2 receptions. I was a receiver, Missouri State, right?
Yep.
Okay. 2 receptions, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. Good day?
That's a great day. I wasn't ever good enough to actually have a day like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's such a burner.
Yeah.
He catches the ball. They like to get him on these long over routes or throw it on a deep go route. He can pretty much catch the ball, gas it. If he gets behind you, you can forget about it. And Jared Goff, 18 for 18, that's almost like the equivalent. I feel like, how baseball, people throw a no-hitter?
Yeah.
I feel like I've never even heard of somebody going, 18 for 18. So is that like a no-incompleter?
Yeah.
How would you call that?
And that's a great title.
Yeah.
That's a great title.
No, good.
But the thing is, you do 7-on-7s, X, Y, Z. Even there are incompletions in that. You're talking about going 18 for 18. That's what we say, right? 18 for 18?
Yeah.
Against professional defensive backs, defense coordinator, defensive line coming at you, go 18 for 18. That's excellent. It's crazy because I remember whenever he got traded, right? It's Stafford for him. They switched out.
Yep.
And you kind of looked at that move, and it's like, so Goff leaves, but Goff is everything. He was no more big in the draft.
Yep.
Never big in the draft. And it seemed like he's turned out to be everything they thought he would.
For sure. I thought that when they first made the trade, I was like, I think it's going to be a good trade. It's kind of tit for tat. I feel like they both about the same level of good. Of course, everybody in my phone was hitting me up like, no, you're not. Stafford's better.
You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Or Goff is better. And I was like, well, they're about the same. And, if you look at it, I know Goff won a championship, but I felt like he won a championship on a loaded, stacked Rams team. Goff went to it. I'm sorry, Stafford went to the championship.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. I was about to say, like, what?
No, I'm bad. And Stafford went to on a loaded Rams team. Stafford went to a championship, but Goff, he won the championship. Goff went to a championship.
Yeah, Goff went there.
Now look at last year. Goff went to a conference championship. So I really think the quarterbacks are pretty even. If you could swap them back and forth, they probably get you about the same production between them two. But
the weird thing, though, is, first of all, because I remember whenever they were talking about Goff was going first pick in the draft, I'm like, I haven't even really watched Cal since Deshaun Jackson, Marshawn Lynch, and those guys, but they were telling me this guy out of Cal being Jared Goff was a monster. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, but I think it's going to be great because obviously we saw what Stafford and Calvin Johnson did in Detroit, but Goff has been kind of part of the guys that have actually built that to like a winning organization. Mm-hmm. So you'll be really, like I said, don't remember Stafford. But you'll remember the guy that brought you to the playoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And who did they have Who were they up big in the playoffs against last year? They ended up losing the game to
49ers.
It was the 49ers. It's like, so they were killing. I remember James had the touchdown. I was like, oh, this Lions team is for real.
I was watching that game at FanDuel. Again, we need a deal, FanDuel. I was watching it. I was watching that game, and people was in there hype because they thought the Lions were going to go to the championship. And then people was going to know. Then all of a sudden they start coming back. Purdy started making some throws, and they ended up coming back and winning the game. But yeah, Jared definitely put Lions back on the map and took them farther than Matt Stafford took them.
Yeah,
which was, you think Lions, I know they probably love Stafford and they love Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, for sure.
Technically speaking, Jared Goff has put you back on the map and took you further than Stafford ever did. So
good for them. Got Thanksgiving's going up. You know you're not gonna lose.
Well, exactly. Thanksgiving, they actually brought Thanksgiving back. I used to yawn for Thanksgiving when the Lions was playing. It's always the Cowboys, because Cowboys, we're America's team. They gonna put us on there. You got to put us on there.
Might watch y'all lose too. It just been on the day. Been on the day.
Yeah, we known to lose some stuff. Cowboys, we will lose something.
On the big scene.
Had me throwing my cranberry sauce and turkey all over the place.
Somebody worked hard for it, now it's all gone.
Yeah.
What we finna eat?
For real. Yeah, it's good, though. Good to see the Lions having a good system. I love Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator there. I think he's doing a good job. Love the coach. He's doing a good job as well. Good to see the Lions back on the map. I think it's fun to have a fun to watch type team.
For sure. And then they had Imran on the wide receiver show on Netflix.
Oh, for sure.
Which made me even more kind of tune into them. That's why I love that. They're supposed to be doing the Hard Knocks. I haven't seen it yet for the AFC North. But it's like when you can see those storylines that's going on throughout the season and watch on a week-to-week basis, it makes you kind of root for the team even more. I even was tuned in to the Giants heading into the season because I was like, okay, we got to see them on Hard Knocks, got to see the pro day, not their pro day, we got to see them go to different pro days. You got to see them make free agent decisions. Mm-hmm. And then they blew it all up. But it was exciting to watch.
And not too long ago, they had the Lions. They did the same thing. It was like the Dan Campbell when the Lions was there. Yeah. That's when Aiden had just got drafted. So that was just last year where Aiden Hutchinson was a rookie.
Michigan defense end?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. He was pretty good. He's a pretty good player, too, for them. It was cool to watch them on Hard Knocks. And that's kind of when I think people start kind of falling in love with the Lions last year.
Yeah.
They watched Dan Campbell and the crew.
And it just took off from there.
Yep.
So also, other game Monday night, you got Tennessee Titans versus Miami Dolphins. No Tua. Big problems. What are your thoughts on the Dolphins play?
Getting hawked to it. It's getting it's just getting hawked to it on, bro. It's just look like they have no motion, no rhythm. I mean, a lot of people talk about how Tua has these ceilings and how he's not that good, and he's smaller stature, weak. They used to talk about his arm, but all I know is when Tua does not play,
that's what I was about to say.
They look like a totally different team. They look terrible, and I'm not saying Tua is this all-world quarterback, but he can at least run an offense. He's competent.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, he's going to come back and play, if he wants to come back and play. I think that he will. I saw him over there on the sideline, and he just looked like he still got competitive juices flowing. I think he's out for the 4 games or whatever, but, man, they have a hard time even getting the ball to midfield, and it just looks bad to watch.
Okay, so I was listening to them talk about the Chicago Bulls when they got Lonzo Ball and they had Levine and DeMar DeRozan was with the Bulls, I think at that time, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And they were talking about how what ends up happening is they had Lonzo on the perfect team at the Bulls for everything around him to work. So like Lonzo's in the center, he passed the ball to him, he gets everybody involved. It was the perfect team for the Bulls, and they were like, they gave him big money because they're like, this is the perfect scenario. We just feel like we can potentially compete for championships. But as soon as you take Lonzo out, remember he had the leg injury, he's been out for like 2 to 3 years. Shout out Lonzo Ball. Got the shirt, Ball Brothers. But the BBB, Troop B. But anyway, you take him out. Gotta just keep going down the line. Yeah. But anyway, but then you take him out of that lineup, you take him out and the team is kind of scattered. That's how Miami feels. Yeah. You got Waddle.
No comparison. I can kind of see that actually because I don't believe that the Bulls, when they put that team together, it was all hype about it. They had a low buzz. They were still going to get their ass smacked as well. Yeah. But they was going to at least make the playoffs. Yeah. Dolphins, when they have Tua, they are competent.
We got it.
I don't think they're going to beat nobody in the playoffs, but he get smacked, but he'll at least get there.
He'll get there. It's like whenever he's here, he can distribute the ball to him. He knows what to get him. He knows how to help him get going. He knows it all. Yeah. You take him out of there, Tyler Huntley, 14 for 22. 96 yards.
Man, it looked terrible. And the Titans didn't even look good. Matter of fact, Will Levis, he hurt his shoulder trying to dive. You know, he always look like he doing some clumsy type stuff. He just keeps becoming a meme every week, always doing something silly. But he dove for a first down, fell on his shoulder, was over there talking about some, yeah. And they ended up putting Mason Rudolph in the game, and he just ran the offense for there, handed it to Tony Pollard, handed it to Tajay Spears. Easy money.
Tony Pollard, old Cowboys running back.
Yeah, trying to tell my Cowboy fans and followers out there there wasn't nothing wrong with Tony Pollard. Yeah. He wasn't all slow and washed up like they thought. No, it was definitely the offensive line. We don't block the same. We don't have the same line that we used to have.
Y'all not the Great Wall of Dallas y'all used to be.
Right, no, not at all.
Yeah.
And Pollard, I thought every time Pollard got the ball, and even though it was 3 yards, it was an impressive 3 yards. He probably should have lost 3 yards. He was just, this guy's like a nifty, shifty, a nimble shiftiness to him, the way he moves, and he's able to get like 3 yards. And people are like, man, running game sucks. Pollard, I thought he was supposed to be good. Like, he can only be as good sometimes as the dude's blocking for you. If he's blocking, can't be good.
The people got to move the people in front of him so he can get where he's trying to go.
Yeah.
Mason,
he was killing that thing.
Mason Rudolph, 9 for 17, 85 yards. Gosh. 2 quarterbacks in an NFL game, and no one is 100 yards worth of passing.
That was a bad game. It was sloppy. But Mason, he just kind of did what he had to do, just move the sticks when he needed to every now and then. The Dolphins were so bad that they didn't even really – the Titans didn't really have to do anything to win. Yeah. The Dolphins were so bad they were going to lose it. They were going to lose regardless, yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at it as far as receptions, DeAndre Hopkins, D-Hop, 2 receptions, 31 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions, 36 yards. Mm-hmm. And Pollard, you're talking about 22 carries for 88 yards. I think it's about 4 yards per carry and a touchdown.
Hey, one of the best parts of the game, though, at the end of the game, Pollard ran the ball. Well, they ran it on 4th down. It was like on the goal line.
Yep.
Pollard gets the ball. Instead of like taking a knee or kicking a field goal, they decide to go for it again. Pollard gets the ball, bounces it outside, and runs a touchdown. Also on that same fantasy team I was telling you about, I needed that.
They give you that boost?
I needed that point. 6 points on that touchdown. So I won that. And then a lot of people had the over, so everybody was like, hey, going crazy. Yeah. And they had they got a Tony Pollard anytime touchdown. Yeah. They jumped on that, so that was going crazy when he scored that because it was an unneeded touchdown. They just gave it to him. He got in that thing, bounced it outside, and gassed it to the end zone and dove. Everybody was like, yes.
I be thinking, like, when you watch those games, it's like because you have so much sports betting going on, you never know who's cheering for what. Yeah. It's like, even if y'all don't win, you got to find a way to the end zone. I was sick because I think after the opener, when Saquon Barkley had, like, a couple of touchdowns, I was like, okay, so Saquon's got a touchdown every week. And then they go on Monday Night Football, or I think that was Monday or Thursday night, whenever they played the Falcons, and they didn't score. I'm like, Saquon, how don't we get in the end zone? And you hate it the worst when the guy is right by the end zone and he doesn't fall in, or like, okay, you're on the 1 yard line and we throw it out wide or something like that. It's like, man, that cost me $100, right? That you doing that.
Yeah, if the running back, that's some Seattle Russ Wilson, Sean Lynch type shit. Yeah. Right there, I'm on the goal line. Just hand me that ball. I'll run it in.
Toss it, fade to the corner.
Yeah, they're going to throw it. Say we're going to try to do a rub route, throw it over the middle. Up, pick. Yeah. Up. Patriots win again.
So now somebody loses. Somebody's fantasy thing is probably messed up. And I probably lost some money. This is why we're cutting TV off. We move forward.
Right.
All right. What you thought about Ravens-Bills? Ravens stomp them. Yeah. 35-10. We thought it was going to be a heavyweight. Lamar, Allen. Okay, what we got here? Battle of heavyweight. Scored 35-10. What you thought of the game?
That was a smackdown. That got boring quick. Because the first, right out the gate, Derrick Henry got the ball. Somebody that the Cowboys should have picked up as well. I mean, everybody want to talk about when going to running backs. There's a running back available. He literally lives in Dallas.
That's crazy.
He trains in Dallas.
Really?
He right down the street. People's asking him. I think he even said, yeah, I'd be interested to come to Dallas. And we said, no, we can't afford him. Like, well,
what are we doing? We trying to win or we trying to win?
Right, well, what are we doing? We're not trying to win.
Yeah.
I mean, we can afford whoever we choose to afford.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we can get Derrick Henry in. Let me see the chart. I'll make some room. We trying to bring Derrick Henry. We can't afford him. Let me see the chart. Let me see the roster. I'm pretty sure I can find some money for Derrick Henry on the roster. You gone. You can stay and you gone. But anyway, back to the other game. Damn. Ravens. Derrick Henry. First game popped it. Touchdown. Straight shot. It's crazy how he's big, but he got that long speed.
It's weird. Because you be thinking like, okay, somebody's gonna hawk him down. Not gonna happen.
He I've seen him run down the sideline so many times. It's crazy, but that's, you knew right from jump it was going to be that type of game. Ravens were just killing them. And I think they was a little bit more hungry, too, because they needed the win. They kind of got off to a slow start.
Yep.
So, they beat the hell out of us Cowboys. You can't just still bothered by the Cowboys. Keep bringing them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's like that. It's that thorn in your side. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, every time I think about something, I always reverse back to the Cowboys. It's just killing me.
So you saw the LSU touchdown? Yeah, it's just like the Cowboys gave up.
Yeah.
So, okay, that works
for
too.
Sure.
But the Bills moved to 3-1 with the loss. Ravens 2-2. We talk about Derrick Henry, 24 carries, 199 yards, and 1 touchdown. Those are passing stats.
Yeah.
Those are, as far as yardage, 199, big day for him. But, Derrick, I remember looking at his stats in high school. It was like he even said on the interview, he was like, when he was in high school, he just felt like it was another day. And, like, you go back and you look at those stats, and you're like, this is insane.
Mm-hmm.
That one person running like this, and then he goes to Alabama, he's just another guy in the locker room.
Yep.
Another running back in the room.
Wow, it was just rolling running backs.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram. And it was Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They had another running back that came out of there that was good. It was T.J. Yeldon was coming out. It seemed like there was like a running back factory for like one of them not being good. Went to the Browns, not being good. What was his name? Trent Richardson?
Yeah, Trent was a beast. Remember, he had to step against Ole Miss where he stepped 2 times.
In college, he was cold. I don't know what happened in the NFL. He ended up not being as good in the NFL. But there was like a running back factory for, I felt like it felt like probably 8-9 years.
Really? Yeah, I was say really from the time Ingram stepped on campus, they just kept getting them. Because hey, remember, Kamara was at Alabama at one point in time.
Oh yeah.
Who was 17 at Alabama? He was a speedster.
Kenyon Drake.
There you go.
Yep.
That's him. He played in Miami, I think, for a little while. With the Dolphins.
And he went to Raiders. Yeah, he was a good player for them. Out of college as well. Yeah, he was running back factory.
Yeah. So staying here we're talking about the Ravens, staying in the AFC North. If you're the Browns. Right, so Deshaun's not getting the job done for whatever reason. You've invested $250 million guaranteed. Here's the thing. You saw Goff come and operate this offense how it was. And I was listening to something that was super interesting. Another Alabama guy, like how you talk about the Cowboys, I keep talking about Alabama today. A.J. McCarron said he was Deshaun's backup in Houston. And he said he told Deshaun, shout out A.J. McCarron. He said this, I'm not taking the credit for this. This is a great point, though.
Yeah.
He was like, that Brown scheme isn't really good for you. He was like, whenever Deshaun was, I guess, trying to find his next opportunity where he wanted to go, I guess he saw somebody give him $250 million after the scandal. He was kind of like, I just kind of got to take it. But he was like, you kind of, I think from what he was saying, it was like whenever we were at Houston, we kind of catered the offense to you, kind of like Clemson, and you were able to go be explosive, do all that stuff. This is more so a Deshaun under center type of scheme, and it just hasn't been working. But so with all that being said, if you're the Browns, what do you do?
2 options. You can go ahead and get rid of him right now, cut the bait, or put him on the bench if you have to pay him, or just go get him a bunch of people, bring in on the massage ladies. It's not Deshaun Watson, it's Massage Watson. So if you can't get a massage, then I would say put him on the bench. And he's killing the franchise right now. I feel like there's no more rest, there's no more time. You paid him a lot of money. And he has to. This is the year he was supposed to put it all together and perform. Yeah. There was some flashes last year every now and then, but now I don't think he's a very good quarterback. You saw what Joe Flacco was able to do when he came in there right off the street.
Yeah.
And was able to, get the Browns to the playoffs. Watson is, you could say it's a system, and I could see, he's not an under center drop back read guy. That's more of a Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco type
For sure. Good point.
But I think that they could probably bring in a guy, if they don't like their backup, they can probably bring in a Tannehill. He could probably come in there and ran that type of system with them. But I don't think Watson is showing that he is any better than a backup quarterback.
So
put him as a backup quarterback.
You can see they have Jameis on the bench. Do you think that type of scheme would fit Jameis a little bit better?
I think Jameis would give him a spark.
Okay.
I would definitely give. What's really the difference? Sometimes the guy off the bench plays better because he just hungry with the playback.
Yeah, he's inspired. He's trying to get on the bench.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure he can get a contract for the next year.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson already got the guaranteed money. He can retire right now and get go to as many massages as we want to get. No, man, massage Watson, dog. It's over with. I think that they just keep trying it and trying it and trying it. Eventually, man, you got to cut bait. Trade him somewhere else. Maybe he can be good in a different system, or put him on the bench. or I don't know. Eventually, you're just gonna start losing pieces of the locker room, which I feel like they're already starting to do. I feel like Mark Cooper's on a trade deadline. He want to get up out of there. I'm pretty sure David and Njoku probably don't really want to be there. I know he's injured, but if you ask him, hey, you gotta go play for somebody else, I'm sure he'd be like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, because that's it. Like I said, that's the thing. Whenever you've seen it work before and it's not working, you're like, okay. And, you can't really kind of base your career off another player, too. So it's like, yeah, I'm still in my prime right now. I got to make as many yards, get as many bonuses I can. A lot of times you get those different bonuses based off of your performance. So it's like, if we can't get the ball to me, I got to go find some place that they can.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, this Christian McCaffrey situation is really weird. The 49ers got the win in spite of his final score 30-13. It looks like Christian McCaffrey might be out for a little while.
Yeah. So he had one Achilles, they were saying Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah.
He ended on one, but then I was reading this past weekend because everybody be trying to, now that, Fantasy's playing, everybody be trying to send Christian McCaffrey. I'm like, everybody send me these Christian McCaffrey offers.
Yeah.
I wanted him before the season started.
For sure.
Okay, well, now let me see what's going on. Look at my phone. Both Achilles is both hurting at the same time.
Oh,
he got Achilles tendonitis in both legs. It's like, hey, he can't even get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no, if I'm not mistaken,
crazy.
he was going to get evaluated by doctors overseas. Like, this is some weird. I remember another comparison, something different. Paul George. I remember one time, I think he had to have surgeries on like both shoulders or both arms or something like that.
Crazy.
And it was in the off season, so it was like, okay, whatever it is. But that's what this kind of reminds me. It's like, wait, so they're both hurting, and you like running back. And this is what you always think about when some of these guys have been getting so many carries for so long.
Mm.
It's like, McCaffrey was do it all in Carolina, but that's some, and then he was doing it all at Stanford.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wear and tear on you. And so now, whenever you're in San Francisco, they kind of feel like they're kind of in their prime right now. And granted, they have a lot of good weapons, so they're able to kind of move without it. But
yeah,
spent some good money for him. And right now, unfortunately, he's just injured.
Yeah, I think McCaffrey is the best player, best white dude. Well, athlete, best white athlete in the league for sure. I like him a lot. I hate to hear he's hurt and he's going to probably, I think he's going to miss the season.
He's miss the season.
I think he's out for the season.
Ooh.
I think he's coming back. And honestly, though, 49ers, they do have a good team. I don't think they're going to miss a beat.
Okay.
Jordan Mason, I think he's on pace for like 1,800 yards or something crazy.
Jeez.
So it's like not taking away nothing from McCaffrey, but they have a very good system. They can hand the ball to anybody and probably put up 100-yard game. That system is that good. So I think they're going to let McCaffrey sit. Not let him, but he's going to have to miss the whole year, unfortunately. And they're going to go with Mason. And Mason's a good back. He's been there for a while. Been putting a lot of work in, so he's finally kind of getting his time to shine. But, yeah, I think it's over.
It gets real trickery with those injuries, too, because it's like you try to rush on the brain. Is this a long-term investment or is it a rental? Because it's a long-term investment. He gets hurt again. Now you got to deal with it longer. You got to kind of start the clock all over again. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do about that. Another team would kind of the opposite, not skipping a beat, but actually probably improving. What do you think about Andy Dalton's performance with the Panthers against the Bengals?
Another situation where if you have somebody that's not competent at quarterback, no offense, Bryce Young, I really like Bryce Young coming out of Alabama. Thought he's a really smart guy. I think he's a really cool person. No shots at him, particularly as a person, but as a football player, he just looked like he just wasn't getting the job done.
Okay.
Incompetent. He's another player. Maybe you can put him in a different system. He can try it there. Because, first round pick, they usually get other chances in other places.
They get a second chance.
But it's just funny how everyone thinks the offense is not good. Even me, last year, I said, back when they had Frank right there, that the offense doesn't look good under Frank Rapp. But they brought a different coach in, and then Andy Dalton comes in the game. Now they look formidable. Now they can put points up on the board, and they kind of have a little bit of a shootout with the Bengals.
Yeah.
So what was this at? You got to ask yourself, what was this at with Bryce Young? So is it really Bryce, or is it really the offense? Because if Andy Dalton come in off the street and come in, well, he's been a backup there for a couple of years, but if he can come in and look the way he looked, maybe Bryce is the issue.
And the thing is, he did this against his former team.
Yeah.
It's weird, like the NFL. We saw with Flacco. It's like the NFL. These quarterbacks can be on the bench for somewhere. They could be out high school coaching. They come in I feel like once you've been an NFL quarterback for an organization, especially when you're maybe the number one guy, you can always do it.
Yeah, it is a skill that you develop.
Yeah.
And I really think if you just kind of look across the board, quarterback play is kind of down. It's like they're asking people to come in as freshmen right away, and if you're not Well, let me just use a good example. If you're not Jaden Daniels, who's killing the game right now, I don't even like to admit it because I'm a Cowboys fan and I'm nervous. But Jaden Daniels, if you don't come in looking like Jaden Daniels right away, then it's like they're already ready to move off of you. They're already like, this guy's a bust. But, the playbook's bigger. You're throwing it against NFL guys right away. There's no grooming period like what Rodgers got, 3 years, 2 years. Not really. People want to see you be good right now, today, like Kevin Gates would say, or else they're ready to get you up out of there.
And that's tough. That's tough. Like you said, the play calls are longer. You're sitting around, and it's different now, I guess, because college players have the headsets in the helmet too. But you listen to some of them NFL play calls, you listen to the mics up. It's like, man, you got to know this. You got to know everybody's position. The windows are a lot smaller. So that ball, you can easily plead in college. You might get picked in the NFL.
Yeah, and you can't trick nobody either. In college, you can almost sit back, choose. If you're coming out of high school, you get to choose between a mailbox full of coaches and systems and places I want to go play football at and find the one that's best for me. And nowadays, I used to, I transferred. You have to sit out and wait a year. Now you can transfer every semester if you want to. Jump in the portal and go up. I made a mistake. I want to go here instead. Boom, transfer. So you can almost find a place that's tailored for your game and kind of hide it.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you get drafted and you got to do whatever that coach drafted you tells you to do, and it's just a lot harder. And I feel like the quarterback play, it's kind of down.
Jason, glad you said Jason Brown, Last Chance U, Independent.
Yeah.
He talks about this a lot, and shout out Jason Brown. He's like, quarterback play isn't what it used to be. Yeah. He compared a lot to look at opening week. Look at what the quarterbacks done. A lot of guys weren't throwing maybe 100, 120 yards passing in that first week, and he's like you said, guys aren't being developed as much. Mm-hmm. And he's like, he feels as if college is not developing well. And also, a lot of times these college coaches can scheme these guys open.
Yes, it's the cookie cutter. RPO, read here. One read. If he takes me, I hand the ball off. If he doesn't, if I was running back, I pull it. They have another way you can throw it off of that too.
Yeah.
It's just getting so cookie cutter. But in the NFL, you have guys who've been calling defense for a long time. They figured that scheme out. So what if they take away this read and this read? Now you're stuck, and you got to turn to an athlete to try to run. There's not guys who learn how to drive back 5 steps, read the defense, cover 1, cover 2, go through each progression. If you have time, if there's nothing there, throw it away. It's I would say quarterback's down, but in turn running is up.
Yeah.
Running back it's crazy. They're getting more valuable, but they're making less money. But that's neither here nor there.
That's a whole nother what do you would call it? That's a whole nother segment.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother
sure.
things that bother Tyren.
Yeah.
But last but not least, I know you've been excited to talk about this for a little while here. Before we get up out of here, got to say that before we get talking about the Cowboys. Good, Tyren can go for a little while.
Excited to talk about it.
So the Cowboys beat the Giants, right?
We did beat the Giants.
Got to win against the Giants, and y'all have the Steelers.
Right.
Is Justin Fields guy for this game matchup?
Justin Fields is one of those guys where when I say quarterback plays down, that's what I mean. Justin Fields, quarterback plays down. He's a guy that I don't know that he really had proper quarterback training, meaning he was so athletic, people probably just wanted you to use your athleticism. One read, and like most Ohio State dudes in the NFL, they usually don't pan out, other than C.J. Stroud.
Because you had Olave, you had Garrett Wilson, you had Jamison Williams, that was the slot guy whenever he was at Ohio State. So his weapons were better than most of the Big Ten easily. Yeah.
Running around wide open, and then it's hard to really develop with the Bears. They're primarily a defensive team.
Yeah.
And then I would say that for Cowboys, we should win the game. Way to beat Justin Fields is, I would say, just keep making them throw. Contain, rush, but rush with integrity. Okay. Contain, and make him throw. If Justin Fields throws it for 400 yards and he beats us, then that's just the formula that I'm going to say we need to play and make him beat us by throwing it for 400. He throws 400 on us, pat him on the back, say, good job.
You had a good game.
You had a great game.
Yeah.
I didn't think you could do it. But just don't let him. What he would kill you on is when he just tucks the ball and just takes off with it. That's too easy for him.
Yeah.
Way too easy for him. At least challenge him and make him throw the ball, stay in the pocket, integrity with some rush lane integrity, and then make him beat you over the top with his receivers.
Game's gonna be in Pittsburgh. The Cowboys going to this one 2-2.
I'll be there, by the way. Fun fact, I will be
You
there.
gonna be in the building?
Yes,
You going
sir.
to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, you know, I go to a game, I got to go out there and yell. I like to yell at my team in person. So I feel like if I'm at the game and I yell, then somebody will hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defense coordinator, hey, you hear that guy out there?
Yeah.
Do what he say.
No, they don't be hearing me, man. But, it's cool. I'll be at the
It's
game.
good to
for
feel
sure.
heard.
Yeah, it's cool. I feel hurt.
So, all right, well, I know you're going to Cowboys. I'm going Steelers here. In
To win?
Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, yes, Justin Fields likely to start is what CBS is telling me.
Oh, he going to start.
So he'll start this game. This is weird with Russ because we all thought Russ is, but it doesn't even matter. Russ got hurt. It is what it is. I got Steelers. Tyren clearly has the Cowboys. We should see by that one. And then last one, I think this is the big game of the week here. Money line right here. Saints Chiefs. Who you got?
Saints, Chiefs.
And Chiefs wide receivers hurt, right?
Yep.
He's hurt.
Is it in New Orleans or is it in Kansas City?
Let's take a look. If it's
It's in
in, if
Kansas
it's in
City.
Arrowhead, what do you say? If it's in Arrowhead, what do you say? It is in Arrowhead.
Chiefs.
Easy.
Chiefs find a way to pull it out. Not easily, but because their games will be tighter. Saints can run the ball generally, but the Chiefs match up well against that system.
Yep.
They're gonna have to make Derek Carr beat them. You know, throwing it to his guys over the top off some play action type stuff.
Okay.
But I think Chiefs out scheme and out coach Dennis Allen. Oh, so Andy Reid specifically will out coach Dennis Allen, and they'll find a way to get a win. I don't know how they do it either. I hate seeing it because it ain't my team. I like a lot of the players in Kansas City, but I don't like the Chiefs because they make it look way easier than we do as the Cowboys. But
Rasheed Rice is the one that's hurt. They're trying. There's a knee injury. They're trying to see how serious it is.
Yeah.
I remember Deshaun Watson, Houston. It was the AFC Championship game, up like 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
And after I saw that performance, I was like, oh, man, you can't never count these guys out. They were up 21-0. Houston was Bill O'Brien's head coach. Okay, we got this one. In Arrowhead. Them boys got going. That Patrick Mahomes boy. You know, you don't hear Mahomes boy as much now that Shannon's not undisputed anymore. Maybe I don't hear
Patton?
it.
Is it only for Fox Sports? Does it have to stay there?
That's what it seemed like because I haven't heard him say it as much.
Homeboy.
But I'm going, I'll probably go with you there. I'll probably go Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll find a way to win that off some, I can see them winning it like a 20-17 type game.
Yeah.
They win a close scoring game. They're always good ball control, always make great situational, calls. They always understand timeout situations. They're just a tough team to beat, man.
And I think that since then, we've always knew Andy Reid was a good coach, but I feel like people really have started talking to him as being like one of the better coaches in the league.
For
just
sure.
because of now how he's kind of been doing now with the Chiefs and just keep winning. Because it seemed like it was always Bill Belichick and then kind of everybody else, but Andy Reid's closing that gap.
Yeah.
We should see what happens. That's all I got for this week.
Yep.
Tyren, should be fun. Go watch the Steelers take the loss.
Yep.
I mean, watch the
Yeah, you
Cowboys.
said it right.
No.
You said it right.
No.
Y'all heard it here first. The Steelers take the loss. Cowboys get the dub.
We're predicting the future. Make sure you follow the Instagram account, Bucket_Sports_. We're going to keep coming for the rest of the season. See y'all
Yes,
next
sir. Peace. Bucket.
Peace. How long are we looking at?
Total recording time on that one was